What's up, you guys? It's Base Kato and I'm back with another video, and let's go ahead and get into this video because I have a lot to talk about, a lot of things that's been on my mind lately that I just want to spew out to you guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing that I did want to touch on is your girl is finally monetized on YouTube, you guys. Like, oh my goodness, this is such a big accomplishment for me, and I would not have been able to do it if it wasn't for you guys, my supporters. I want to say thank you so much for supporting my channel thus far. Like, it's so crazy that I have like over 1,000 something people that want to watch the content that I create. Because I remember when I first started off my channel and, you know, uploaded my first YouTube video, like I barely got 10 views on the video, but I was so excited, and that was pretty much the start of my YouTube journey, which y'all don't understand. It's been a long time coming with my YouTube channel, I swear. I know I emphasize this in probably every sit down talking video, but it's like I can't emphasize it enough. Don't compare your journey, like especially your YouTube journey or whatever projects you're working on. But we're specifically talking about YouTube. Don't compare yourself to someone else's channel and their analytics and their journey, because it's like at the end of the day, your time will come and you don't want to rush the process. I feel like if my YouTube channel was to have gained traction way back when I was like 21, 22, 23, it's kind of like I feel like I would have ran my channel to the ground, if that makes sense, because I feel like I would have been making decisions based off of what others think that I should do rather than what I want to do for myself. Which that reminds me of a quote that I read in a book recently, which I'm annoyed because I actually wrote down that specific quote and I cannot find it in my notes, but I did find a quote that's pretty much similar to it, if not almost exactly the same. But the quote was basically saying, are your decisions really your own or someone else's? And again, I just think about that quote all the time, and I just think about that when it comes to my channel, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like when I first started off on YouTube, I was doing content that I actually like to do. You know, I did makeup videos, I did a vlog, I was just, you know, learning the platform and this, that, and the third. But then I started looking at other people's channels, and I kind of did start to compare myself to other people in their YouTube journeys, which I feel like everybody who does YouTube at a certain point, we will start to compare ourselves to other people. But you shouldn't do that. When I did that, that's when my content started to change a little bit on my channel. Like I started to do more reaction type videos. I also did like 2 collab videos with someone, and I'm not gonna lie, like those videos, I never rewatched them. Like I haven't rewatched any reaction video since I posted it. I don't watch the collab videos that I've made. Like those videos were not fun to edit. It wasn't fun to make, it wasn't fun to edit, and it just sucked the fun out of like YouTube in general. Yeah, I was getting views and it's like I was getting subscribers, but it wasn't the community that I wanted to build. Like that wasn't the type of community that I wanted to build, because a lot of reaction videos, I feel like in my opinion, are negative based, if that makes sense. Like you'll get a lot of just negative comments about, you know, that person's actions in the video. I was a little bit more consistent because those videos were just easier to make, but it wasn't fun. I felt like I wasn't really adding any value, and that's when I kind of stepped away from YouTube and kind of thought to myself, okay, what type of content do I want to create? You know, like forget everybody else, forget the algorithm, this, that, and the third. Like what type of content do I want to make? Because it's crazy how YouTube has kind of changed. Like once the algorithm became like a thing, I feel like that's when everybody stopped creating videos for themselves and just created videos for the algorithm. Of course, I do want my videos to hit the algorithm and get views, but I don't want to be desperate and chase the algorithm for views. That's why, again, I think about that quote all the time that says, are your decisions really your own or someone else's? And I apply that quote all the time with just anything and everything that I do, especially artistically. So once I switched my content back to like what I actually really like doing, that's when I started to notice that my YouTube channel was growing. It started off slowly at first, but that's okay because my channel was kind of just losing subscribers that only subscribe for reaction videos. But I was more so gaining subscribers now because these people like me for me. And that's what I want to be known for on YouTube. Like, I don't want to be known for reacting to other people's comments or being that person that always just talks about other people, which I will say I'm not putting other creators down on the platform that do those types of videos, because I mean, hey, they're making money off of it. So it's kind of like, hey, at least I'm making money off of talking about other people's situations. But me personally, that's just not the direction that I saw myself going in. Needless to say, that's when I switched up my content and really just started to focus on how I wanted my YouTube channel to look like. I started to become more creative with my channel, and I will say that's when I started to finally feel like my dreams are actually turning into a reality. I don't know if you guys follow like my post community tab, but I've been posting a lot recently, and like the quote that I always post is "The world is yours." And I don't know why, but I just love that quote so much. Like, that's a quote that I've been following throughout my entire YouTube journey, you guys, because I feel like whenever I say the world is yours, it just hits a nerve in my body. It like inspires me to where it's like even the sky isn't the limit. If you're new to YouTube, or if you're just now starting off making YouTube videos, definitely focus on just making what you want to make, like what makes you happy. I feel like the worst type of content you can make for your channel is the type of content where not even you yourself will watch your own content. Don't get discouraged. I feel like I restarted my YouTube channel at least like 3 or 4 times throughout my entire YouTube career, because I did start off my channel back in 2018, and then I know I took like a year or 2-year break at one point. Like, so it's been a minute, y'all. It's been a journey. But yes, YouTube is definitely all about the journey. Forget the destination, because you'll never reach the destination with YouTube. But besides YouTube, life lately, I've just been enjoying Houston, you guys. I've been enjoying my new apartment. Last weekend, I did go to Dallas for the second time ever. And now that I've been to Dallas for a second time, I feel like I can finally see the difference between Houston and Dallas, because that is kind of a question that some people were asking me, and also too, just more like apartment questions here in Houston. So I did want to touch on that real quick. Which, y'all, if you guys have like any questions in general for me that you want me to answer, definitely comment on like any of my YouTube videos. And also too, you can hit me up on Instagram, based_Kato. I do look at all of my DMs, you guys. I will see your DM if you DM me like questions that you want me to answer, and either I'll answer it in the DMs or I'll make a video and respond to your question. If you've never visited the state of Texas and you're trying to figure out, do I want to live in Houston or do I want to live in Dallas? It kind of just depends on your lifestyle. Dallas, it's good for a weekend getaway, but as far as like living in Dallas, I feel like it's kind of bland. Like, Houston is so much to do here, you guys. It also, you can feel the culture here too. Like, there's so many different like ethnicities. I don't know why I can't say that word. It's just so many different cultures here in Houston. You can really feel it. And then too, as far as like things to do here, if you're not like a club person, or if you don't like going to like the bars and lounges, it's still so many other things you can do, activities you can participate in. There's so many different like clubs you can join here in the city, like a running club, a biking club, just different types of clubs in general. And then the food here is like phenomenal. Like, there's so many different food options here. Like, I'm never hungry here. Houston just has so much to offer. So it's like when I went to Dallas, it's like Dallas, I do like the infrastructure of Dallas, and I feel like their apartments, high rises are probably built a little bit better than the ones here in Houston, which you do have to keep in mind. Houston, we do get hurricanes and this, that, and the third, which that is something I'm going to mention when I answer you all's questions in a few. But I will say Dallas, their infrastructure is a little bit better, but their roads are terrible. They don't really have a lot of food options, but maybe I just didn't look hard enough. It's harder to find, like, I'm coming from out of town, right? Like, when I came and visited Houston for like the first time, it was so easy for me to find things to do in Houston. I didn't have to know somebody here to run into certain functions and stuff, right? Whereas in Dallas, after like 2 a.m., it's kind of hard to find anything to do in this city, because when I arrived into Dallas last weekend, last Friday, I got to my hotel at 1 a.m., which I did vlog all of this, you guys. So if you guys check out my latest vlog, which will probably be up after this video, you'll see me in Dallas. But yeah, I got to Dallas pretty late, and I was thinking, oh, I can just, you know, drive around real quick and I'll probably run into, you know, somewhere or something that I can do, right? But I kept riding around and I just could not find anywhere. I couldn't find a bar or a lounge that was open, that was like servicing people past 2 a.m. The only place that I knew of that I've been to before when I went to Dallas the first time was this Mediterranean hookah lounge. They serve really good food, and their hookah is really good, and they stay open till 4:30 a.m. That's like the only spot in Dallas, like after hours spot, that I know that is actually good. So I ended up going there. But that's why I say Dallas is good for like a weekend trip. It's definitely more so a family oriented type of city, whereas Houston is definitely more so like, if you want to have some fun, Houston is definitely the place for you. So this whole topic segues into a question that I got from one of my subscribers via my Instagram. So she said, "Hey Kato, I hope you're doing well, and congratulations on the new move." Thank you. I came across your YouTube this weekend since I'm looking to move soon to Houston from Atlanta. Hey, would you be able to share more of your experience and where you recommend touring? I plan to visit within the next month or so. So I think I kind of just expounded on my experience a little bit, but I could definitely expound a little bit more. So I will say I definitely do not regret moving from Atlanta to Houston at all. So I'm sure you'll feel the same way. It does take time to find your stomping ground here in Houston, because Houston is so big compared to Atlanta. Like, and I feel like it was faster for me to find my stomping ground in Atlanta just because of the fact that I went to Georgia State University. So it was easy for me to find people who were doing similar things to me. Once you become an adult and graduate from college and you're out in the real world, of course, making friends can be a little bit tougher. That's why I would say I would give it at least maybe a year or two, probably 2 years before you actually truly start to find your stomping ground here in Houston. But you definitely will not regret it. She did ask like what places I would recommend her touring. So I can't really like say exact places, but personally, if I'm moving to a new city, I definitely would want to stay like in the inner city. So I would definitely recommend, like, if you're first moving here, to definitely look for apartments that's like in the inner loop here in Houston, which there's like 2 loops here. There's like an inner loop and then like an outer loop, and then it's like the boondocks. If you work with any apartment locator here, normally they'll send you like a few lists, and like one of the lists will include apartments / high rises that are in the inner loop, and also high rises that are like in the outer loop, and so forth and so on. Which, that's another thing I would recommend, is go through an apartment locator. I know I said this in my last video, but I highly would recommend working with an apartment locator. It's a free service. Normally you get money back on your application fee that you would pay to apply to like a apartment complex. Like, I know here once I got accepted and everything. I got my $75 from my apartment locator. They were very helpful. Also too, I would recommend going on YouTube actually. So even recently when I was thinking about moving into a completely different building, I did watch like a lot of like YouTube channels, but there's 3 channels in particular that I always watch because I just like their apartment tour videos because it's just like straight to the point. They tell you everything that you need to know, and it's 3 channels. So the first one is Inside Houston Real Estate, the second one is Fancy Apartments, and the third one is Best Houston Apartments by Grant Bynum Uptown 101. Those are 3 channels I would definitely recommend if you're like not in Houston but you still want to at least do a virtual tour of some of the apartments. But I would highly recommend to look in person before you actually sign a lease. As far as like what areas in particular I would recommend here, again, it depends on your lifestyle. But if you're coming from Atlanta and this is your first time living in Houston, like I said, the inner city is probably your best bet. And then, you know, once you got that city feeling, then you can move to the outskirts if you want to. I swear, living in the city here is different compared to living like in Katy, Texas. Like it's different. And again, as far as areas, of course I would recommend like Midtown, downtown, the Heights, like the Upper Heights area. I would say the Galleria, but it just depends on your preference because I'm not gonna lie, like the Galleria, I avoid that area. I don't even go to the Galleria Mall like that anymore. And honestly, most people that live in Houston, like we don't go to the Galleria Mall, like at least not on the weekends, because it's always so crazy over just in that area in general. So just beware, if you do want to live in the Galleria area, it's definitely a little bit crazy over there. But if you're the type of person who doesn't have a car and you want to be within walking distance to a lot of places, then that would be the area for you. I like living in Midtown because literally everything is in Midtown. Like all of the food spots, all of the bars, lounges, events. You're right by the Toyota Center. You're right by the convention center too. NRG Stadium is right up the street. Like I feel like Midtown, I really like living in Midtown. But like I said earlier, definitely work with an apartment locator and also look at those 3 YouTube channels that I recommended to help you narrow down your apartment search here. Also too, look at Google and look at the reviews, but don't pay attention to the reviews too much. And here's the reason why, because I did notice when I was looking at the Google reviews for all of the high rises here in Houston, a lot of them pretty much have the same problems. Like a lot of the high rises have leaking problems, like water leakage problems. And I've noticed too, a lot of people said that, oh, it's a lot of like theft or break-ins and this, that, and the third. But I'm not gonna lie, y'all, that comes with every high rise. Like a lot of the problems people were writing about on these Google reviews for pretty much all of the high rises here in Houston, those are just like problems that most high rises just have in general. And then too, you have to keep in mind that, you know, we do get hurricanes here. I recommend moving into like a high rise building or like a mid-rise building because they have community events literally every month. In my high rise building, they host events all the time, at least once a month. And it gives you a chance to meet your neighbors, mingle, socialize. And it's always really fun. Like normally they'll have a DJ going, they'll have food, open bar. Like it's really fun. And I feel like if you're new to Houston and if you don't know anybody here in Houston, that's definitely the perfect place to start to meet people here. Because when I first moved here to Houston, I didn't know anybody here. I did, you know, get out of my comfort zone because I'm not gonna lie, when my apartment complex did announce like the next community event that was going to happen at that time, I was low-key nervous because I was like, I don't know anybody here. Like I don't want to be just standing around by myself looking awkward. But you know what, I just bit the bullet, or whatever the saying is, and I just went to the community event. And I actually ended up meeting a lot of people at that event and had fun. And to this day, I still talk to those people, like my neighbors and stuff that I met at that event. and it's cool. So that's why I would recommend living in a high-rise building versus just like a regular apartment. Which, let's not talk down on the regular apartments, you guys, which this brings me back to the quote that I said at the beginning of this video, which was, are your decisions really your own or someone else's? Because I'm not gonna lie, like when I first moved here to Houston, I feel like that first apartment unit that I was first in, I feel like I only really got that unit just to impress other people, or to, I don't know, I feel like I just secured that unit for other people but not for myself. Because when I was originally touring apartments, I actually toured this particular unit that I'm in now first. And this unit was perfect for me. So I don't know why I just jumped the gun on the last unit that I just moved from. I guess it's because once I toured that unit, I saw it, I was like, ooh, this is gonna impress everybody. People are gonna be like, ooh, like Kato, she's doing big things, like big dog, this and the third. But honestly, y'all, like I will say that I don't want to say I regret the decision that I made, because I don't really regret any decision that I've made in life. But I will say I've learned from that decision. And here's what I would recommend to anybody that's like first moving here in Houston. Definitely live within your means when it comes to your apartment. Because it's easy to look at other people online and compare yourself to how other people are living, especially with their apartments. Like, I remember when I secured my last apartment at that time, I just remember on my YouTube algorithm, it was just showing me a lot of creators at the time. They were securing penthouses and 4 or 5 bedroom like apartments. You know what I'm saying? Like people were securing them nice apartments. And I was basically trying to keep up with the Joneses, and I was trying to prove a point. And I mean, hey, the point was proven. I got the unit. I lived in it for a year or two. But honestly, that unit was like a beautiful prison for me, because it was beautiful on the inside, but I had a lot of maintenance issues with that particular unit. And then also too, I was paying basically $3,000 a month just on bills. And it's like I didn't really get a chance to really explore Houston and really experience Houston until I got out of that unit. And long story short, I'm just mentioning this because I just want you to be aware of how much you'll be paying per month for whatever apartment you end up securing. And just be aware of like your expenses, because you don't want to be in a situation where you want to do things here or just in any city in general, but it's like you can't because your expenses are so high that you're stuck. And you don't want to feel like that. That's how I felt in my last unit. So that's why I feel so much better now in this new unit that I'm in. I do want to end off this video by circling back to what I said before, which is don't compare yourself to other people. Because I feel like, you know, at that time I was trying to keep up with the Joneses. And it's crazy how things played out in the end. Because now I've noticed that a lot of the people who were, you know, living these lavish lifestyles, you know, the people who started Airbnb businesses, Turo businesses, this, that, and the third, a lot of these people were scamming the whole time. You know, a lot of these people got basically a cash advance through the PPP loan and spent that money on curating a fake lifestyle. And it's so crazy because now that I'm a little bit older and now that I see the facade that people have been putting up since 2020, it's kind of like I'm okay with where I'm at. I'm fine with how my life is, because at least my life is real, 100% real. Nothing in my life is financed. I bought everything that I have. This apartment is in my name. My car, I don't pay for it. Like, it's paid off in my name. Like, I'm satisfied with life. I'm actually really happy. I know the things that I really want, I'm going to get it. And there's no rush. I don't need to rush to get the things that I want to get. So I've noticed the people who have rushed to obtain the lavish lifestyle that we kind of see on the internet and this, that, and the third, the faster you receive it, the faster it'll get taken away from you. That's how I feel. My bad, y'all. I was making a point and then I lost my train of thought. It is so annoying when I lose my train of thought because I was literally about to hit a point. Anyways, y'all, that is pretty much it for this video. I could probably talk another 2-3 hours, but I'm just gonna cut it right here. If you made it this far in the video, definitely leave behind a 777 comment. That way I can see who actually made it to the end of the video and who didn't. It's okay, like if I only get like 177 comment, you know, it's okay. But anyways, y'all, hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.